I know spray silicone. They spray silicone on it, or they get those oil sprays and spray it on the tools so they don't rust during the winter. And we keep ours in the garage in a big plastic bin. And so it's much better. And your tools, you don't want a rusty tool you start in the spring. You want something that actually is decent looking and you're off and running. So tools they're expensive. And so you just want to keep them in good shape. Lauren, what did you guys do out the farm with the tools?
Pretty much about the same, mainly making sure that they're kept clean and that they're kept dry for storage. You want to make sure you don't have dirt on them and all that. Another thing that I noticed this year was that I don't think it was all the time, but at least occasionally at the Fondy Farmers Market, there was a little local company there that did sharpening, and it wasn't just for kitchen knives. They also sharpened garden tools.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too, with certain of your tools, you want to make sure that you're not hacking away at your plant. You want a clean cut. So if you need to do any pruning on any things, make sure you keep those sharp as well.
That's true. Yeah, back in the day on the farm, we used to stick them up in the hay mow, in the hay and in the straw. That kept them dry all winter. They were in good shape in the spring. So,
could you say more about the oil spray? Do you mean like cooking oil spray?
Yeah,
or
some people use cooking oil. There's a
like
spray.
Pam, something like that?
Yeah, Pam. There's also oil spray that used on farm implements,
Okay.
plows and stuff that you spray in the when you're putting them away in the winter, that you can spray on them too. So yeah, I've seen people with Pam out there. It works.
And even throughout the growing season, as you use your clippers to cut flowers or just cut things back on your plants, cut back tomato plants, whatever, you should be cleaning them in between uses. I'm not real good about that, but somebody uses, so I saw her using like an alcohol spray, like isopropyl, however it's pronounced. And you spray it on there, and then especially for a clipper, you would then want to put the oil spray so it doesn't rust.
Yeah. Rust is the thing you want to avoid as much as possible. That's good. I didn't realize that, Lauren, somebody sharpening them. That's great. If you're good at it, it's really way to go. Have them sharpened up. Okay. Anything else, guys? Questions? Mary, you're sitting there looking pensive.
I would like to say one more thing, like,
Ann.
I will grow herbs, and like I have a huge parsley plant growing in one of my raised beds in the backyard.
Yeah.
And I snip off a piece of it every morning and put it in my smoothie because it's got a lot of calcium C in it. I mean, a lot of calcium in it, and it's just really nutritious. So I'll put it in my smoothie. But that will be good until a really hard freeze comes along. So I'm reluctant. I don't pull that out of the ground yet. I keep it going. And then I'll pull it out. It'll be one of the very last things I'll pull out of the ground. So, and also some herbs will just come back the next year. So if you know something about your herbs and they'll come back, you can sort of just protect them, like we said, with burlap or with whatever kind of floating cover you can find.
Yeah, like right now, I still have a ton of flowers in flower that I'm hesitant. I don't want to take them down yet because they're still really happy, but I'm assuming at some point it will frost and they will die. And hopefully it's before the city stops collecting things.
Your yard looks great this year. It's amazing flowers you got going.
Steve?
Mayor.
I have to go because I have to be at something else. But I want to thank everybody because this has really been helpful. And I never knew about the clay pot thing. And it's wonderful.
Isn't that the truth? Asia, you're right. The kale actually gets better after a little frost. And so it's actually better. A light frost on kale, a completely different flavor. So greens are good with a little bit of frost. And you can keep it growing. Barb, you're right. Through the winter, the one Conestoga wagon with a lot of heat in there, that stuff keeps right on going. and I've got all kinds of different crops in there. Rosemary's going right now, parsley. I still have what are the little Lauren, what are the flowers that you eat? Nasturtiums. I got
Nasturtiums, yeah.
nasturtiums going in there. Got them covered so the frost doesn't get them. So I'm out there eating those things all the time. So yeah, those flowers, if you keep them covered like that, a little bit of heat, you're good to go.
And you know what? If you want garlic, this is the time to plant garlic.
Yeah.
Try to find it organic though, like maybe at a farmer's market. Some grower might be there who grew it on his farm or whatever, like the West Allis market. That's where I bought some years ago. But this is the time to plant garlic if you want it in this July, harvested in July.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about the garlic. Yeah, I used to put it in just the end of August. And so, yeah, and then next June, July, perfect. Yeah. How can we have a watermelon? Monique, you must be doing something right.
I don't know. This is my first garden. I've gotten
Really?
5 watermelons. And just in the last month, I was kind of moving some of the vines in the back.
Yeah.
And I saw another one. And it's only been out there for maybe about a month. And I'm scared because I'm like, do I take it off because of the frost, or do I keep it on and let it try to mature?
That's amazing. Put a coffee can under it, get it off the ground or something to keep it off the ground. And then just at night when the frost comes along, throw something over the top of it.
Okay.
They love sun. You're always looking for sun. This has been such a hot summer. Watermelon, cantaloupe. This would have been a good summer for sweet potatoes. So hard to grow sweet potatoes up here, but this summer would have been perfect because hot and dry.
So what I have on top of it is like white tulle.
There you go.
So I was like, I don't know if I can keep it out there, or I'm just kind of playing it by ear. This is my first garden.
Yeah,
and,
just experiment.
They did very well.
Oh, that's great. Monique, run it for all it's worth.
Yep.
It's all about eating good food.
That's right.
Other questions or comments? Bernadette, how you doing? You got a good garden going. Your backyard.
Yeah, I've done some cutting back. One thing that well, you saw my front yard.
That's for sure.
In fact, I think to myself, maybe I should cut out some of this stuff so I don't have so much to cut back. I have a question about the rain barrel, and I put that in the chat, but maybe someone didn't see it.
I'm sorry.
I have perhaps misplaced the directions. This is my first newer rain barrel that MMSC put in. Or Ethan Taxman he was on.
Yeah.
From Cleveland, Wisconsin.
Rain barrel guy.
Right. That was it. So maybe I should contact him. They had a meeting, but I was at the same time I had another meeting, so I never got to his. I just want to make sure I handle that rain barrel. I tried to empty it the other day, and nothing was coming out of it. So I don't know what went wrong.
Bernadette, sometimes you get just junk in there. And I just take a coat hanger or a just some piece of wire, run up in there and just free it. The water will come out. And then Lauren, what does she have to do to cover up the hole? It sounds like you got one of Ethan.
Lauren said there was something that you got to replace it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the one that goes in the downspout, they gave you a thing. It's kind of like diamond shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you put that over the hole instead. So it's just a cover so that things don't crawl in there and live in your gutter.
Well, she's got to get that plug out of
But
there too,
if you go to their website, they have links because you can get replacement parts for any of them. You can also talk to them, and sometimes if you talk to them, they'll just say like, hey, come down, or yeah, we can give you these parts. But I know that you can purchase any of the parts at all.
What website are you talking about? MMSC?
I was able to find it through MMSD. I don't remember if it was, I can't remember if they just provided the link to the website potentially, but it's the exact same products as they sell. It was something like replacement rain barrel parts. .com, like it was very self-explanatory, the website, but I know I found it through MMSD.
Okay,
And Mabel,
what I
what's
did.
Ethan? Ethan's Clean
Ethan
Wisconsin, isn't it?
Taxman is with Clean Wisconsin.
Yeah, Clean Wisconsin, they have it on their website too.
yeah, okay, clean
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
And I'll try to put his email address in the chat.
So
Good.
I had a question from Ann about when Ann was speaking about the clay pots.
Mm.
Are you saying that that water just kind of seeps through the clay when the plants?
Right.
need it?
Right, that's why the pot can't be glazed.
Yeah, well, no,
You
I have a
bring-
number of clay pots, so I'll.
Yeah, and it should, you,
Good idea.
and when I first started buying them, I wasn't sure, are these glazed or not? I don't know. So I took it home and filled it with water. And if the whole pot becomes very wet, you know you've got an unglazed pot. But
Okay,
then I discovered later that if the pot says it's terracotta, that means it's unglazed.
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah, terracotta.
okay.
So-
All right, I'm gonna give that a try.
Carol, do you have any questions?
I do. Somebody gave me a basil plant and I put it in the backyard. It's doing great. Do I bring it in for the winter or do I just cut it down and let it?
Either way, you can bring it, it's not gonna last long, but it'll keep on going for a while.
Yeah.
I've got two big ones, great big ones out in the backyard. Boy, they smell so good.
So does it come back in the spring if you leave it out? No. Okay, so I'll bring it in.
Yeah, bring it in, because
All
they
right.
do die off. They just,
Okay.
they're so cheap at the West Dallas Farmers Market
Yeah.
and
They
organic.
do like sun, they do like sun.
Yeah.
So as it gets fewer and fewer opportunities for sun in your house, it's just not going to do as well.
Yeah, they
Okay.
kind of,
All right, thanks.
yeah, and I've got, where's the bay leaf? I got a big bay leaf, bay tree, leaf tree that I bring in and I put it upstairs in one of the girls' bedrooms. It's right by, and that grows through the winter. It's right back out in the summer. That thing's going along fine. So you can nurse them along. But yeah, that basil, it'll meet its demise after a while.
So
That's
you,
what-
Steve, you actually harvest bay leaves from it and use it in your cooking?
You got that right.
Just fresh rather than the dried out? Oh,
Either way.
wow.
Either way,
Hmm.
I dry them also, and then fresh also. You want some?
Sure.
I'll get you some. Yeah,
Okay.
this year is phenomenal. I mean, Ann and I were, this is our best year ever for bay leaves.
It's like dry conditions.
Yeah, well, and I nurse the thing along, so it's in good shape. So, other question, Monique, does anyone have experience? Oh, ginger. Anybody ginger? Lauren?
They grew ginger at my farm a couple years ago, but it was still really, it never grew well. They were able to propagate it from a little bit and get back to a certain amount, but it's just too cold here.
Cold.
And
Yeah,
that was
that's-
only in a hoop house. I mean, it was not in open ground. So it took a lot of babying. They were able to do it and sold to the Willie Street Co-op in Madison. But it never grew it never grew as much as it should here. It's just too cold.
No.
Okay. All
That's,
right.
Monique, that's in with sweet potatoes. Every once in a while you get a good year and you know, but you're always taking a chance, and sweet potatoes, those
Right.
things are expensive to get the plants.
Mhm.
The one year, I don't know what happened. They had a flood in Arkansas. So all my plants I lost. They just sent me my money back. They didn't send me my plants. So every once in a while you run into that too. So, oh, there's Ethan. Okay,
I
good.
do know that growing just regular tomatoes is surprisingly easy.
Oh, yeah.
I tried that for a few years and I was like, wow, this is easy.
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of a laissez-faire kind of gardener. I try to make it real easy on myself and I didn't do exactly what I was supposed to do, but the potatoes were good.
Oh, potatoes this year, phenomenal potatoes. And I had just a small little, I had 9 plants and it's amazing. I got a whole milk carton full of, and they were those German red, white, half red, half white, an exotic potato that I found. I thought I gotta try these, and it's amazing potatoes and creamy. just phenomenal creamy potato. But yeah, every once in a while you stumble onto something like that. And I was surprised. Potatoes this year were phenomenal year, and a raised garden too. Had it up above the ground, and they grew perfectly. So they're popping out of the ground, literally.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way that cherry tomatoes are like a weed. And I didn't realize you have to trellis them to have them grow upwards. So they spread, they just almost took over one of my raised beds. And they're almost 6 feet tall. That's how tall they are.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my Arkansas travelers, they're up in the bushes. They're growing up in our bushes.
Yeah.
And you see them hanging in the bushes. For whatever reason, the Arkansas travelers, they were travelers this year.
Oh yeah. Oh
They're
yeah.
a good tomato though. Ooh, mercy.
Yes.
So, Mabel, are you cutting us off or what?
Well, no, I'm not cutting you off, but I do want to just mention that it is 7:21. And
And the Packers are kicking off.
there you go. So I wanted to mention a couple things before we wrap up. We can always pick up maybe even next month. That's November. What would you like to talk about next month? November is November. It's harvest. I guess it's past harvest, but it's Thanksgiving. So would you like to see another webinar, or would you like to take the month off? Or, we really want to hear too what, people who have been joining these webinars, Bernadette, Asher, Bunny, Monique, what is it that you want to hear about in the coming year?
How about eco-friendly cooking?
Okay, I like that.
Really,
Lauren, that's you.
That's good. Okay, that's a good one.
and I think that, sometimes around the holidays, people grab this, grab that, and you can think of what can you make that is hearty, and you're not going to be using all sorts of packaged things. You want to make it as healthy and hearty as possible, even possibly using some of the things that you grew in your garden.
That's true.
Do you want to do that webinar, Bernadette?
Oh, yeah, right. No, I'm a good listener.
We can come to your kitchen.
Lauren, you can cook out of some of your canned foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed.
Yeah, I'm hoping next year to get a little more into pressure canning and whole meal canning. This year I did one batch of soup that's ready to go open up this winter when I want to have a lazy meal. But other than that, I mean, pickles are one of the easiest things to make, but those you don't want to survive all winter on just pickles.
Pickles, right?
But we can.
Absolutely.
We could do a webinar on cooking with dried beans and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that would be a great one because I've been thinking
Yeah.
a lot about the power outage that we had and
Yes.
cold
yes.
weather in Texas. If we can do something like a disaster preparedness type, some things that you can do, like get dried beans and rice and certain things like that, so that we can learn how to prepare in case some of those things could happen.
Survival techniques.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Mabel, you writing that down, I hope?
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah.
And
I
even
think that was a good one.
along those lines too, I like for some of my vacations like to go backpacking, and instead of purchasing the meals, which are rather expensive, like $8 a meal, I make my own dehydrated meals, and those are also a disaster preparedness. As long as you have a vacuum sealer, you can have meals ready to go that are add hot water and you get to eat. So
Okay.
I like that idea.
Meals. Okay.
So.
I like,
Yeah.
maybe this is Bunny.
Bunny.
Okay, Bunny.
Yes, I like the idea about the cooking, making soup, making the survival pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And dried stuff in bulk, Lauren, is it the co-op? Is that the best place to get it?
Outpost Co-op has a lot of stuff, but also, I mean, for flours and rices and things, honestly, I might go to the Indian or Asian grocery
yeah.
stores. The one on Sherman on what's north, way north on 76, and
Yep.
then the Indian store is on right by Mayfair Mall on North and Mayfair. I work next door to that one, so I think of that one. But
That's right.
yeah, there's quite a few places around to get bulk food that is more affordable than sometimes Outpost is. I love Outpost, but I understand that not everyone can shop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a really good way to keep it, you know, so that you don't get
Yep.
like weevils and things like that in it. There's some really interesting techniques to use, such as what are those oxygenators, the little packs that you put in the jar with it so oxygen doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I've just been kind of reading up on that a lot lately, just because of the past events that we've had.
That's great. You might be able to help us, Monique, once we
Yeah.
get to that point.
Co-presenting.
Absolutely.
Join the movement, Monique.
I
Yeah,
would love to.
that'd be great.
Awesome.
I love the fear of the deer. That's kind of cool. Any
Yes.
other ideas?
Pardon?
Any other ideas?
Yeah.
That's
What
great.
about gifts that you could give people when it comes to the December webinar?
Oh.
Gifts,
Mm.
suggestions for what people have done, either giving away things that they preserved or even, putting something together, some ideas of some unique personal things to give.
Mhm.
So
Especially since there is a shipping
Right.
shortage.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about how
Yeah.
Christmas, you may be
That's
not be able to
prices.
buy the Christmas gifts.
Right.
True, true, true.
Oh, that would be nice. Kind of a
Good idea.
DIY gift.
Yeah. And, it could include how you could package gifts rather than, keep buying more and more wrapping paper. You
Yeah.
not only recycle the box. I have one box that I've given my son-in-law for the last 7 years. He knows what it is every time. I just wrap the cover. But in between, I have had friends that have, sewn little bags together real easy with a little drawstring. And, those kinds of things are eco-friendly.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's exactly
love
it.
it.
Eco-friendly. That's our goal.
Eco-friendly. That's it.
One of the best gifts I got from my mom one Christmas was a beautiful quilt. It's like a 1940s crazy quilt and a few handkerchiefs. It's like
That's
all things
cool.
that are just useful, keep me
Yeah.
warm and reduce waste. And that's what I like, practical gifts.
Yeah.
Really practical. That's cool.
Great ideas. Well, with all of that being said, it is 7:28.
Wow.
So I'm gonna wrap this up right so we can get to the Packers game. But I wanted to remind you all that on Saturday, November 6th at 12 noon, we will have the reckless driving community call to action. So if you know residents, please share the information. We will be at Sherman Park, 12 noon. Please
Take back our
join us.
streets rally. Yep.
Yes, yes, it is critical that we start to have this conversation. It's a very public conversation. It affects all of the residents in Sherman Park and beyond. So we do need to have more engagement around reckless driving. We will be there also signing petitions. So please join us if you can help. Get the petition signed. We certainly would appreciate that. We'll have clipboards as well as some ink pens.
So
Maybe
Yeah.
we're just going to be outside.
Gonna be
Yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
And I mean, you know what? We have accidents, rain or shine. There's a lot going on around. I mean, and winter's coming too. So
Yeah.
we want to
No.
reduce the property damage. It is incumbent upon all the residents to step forward to speak on behalf of this. So if you are available on the 6th at 12 noon, please come to Sherman Park so we can have this conversation and get these petitions signed. We do need to present them to the city and the Common Council so that we can get some movement on reducing reckless driving in the community and the city.
So Mabel,
last-
before we quit, Mabel, we reviewed the numbers today from the DOT.
Okay,
The month of July. Not one fatality.
oh, that's good.
And so we're all scratching our heads. And Jeff's son, the captain of the TSU, is like, and Jeremy, who's in charge of our numbers in Madison, said, I'm a lover of the Bucks. And I think everybody
Ah.
felt so good. They were driving nicely. And we were like, Jeremy, put that in your report.
Yeah.
So does that mean the Bucks have to win every month?
That's what Jeff said.
Another
Jeff said-
championship. We need
Yep.
the Packers to win and the Brewers to win too.
So yeah, we were
Reduce
just,
any traffic fatality.
we were amazed. No, and that's hasn't happened in a long, long, long time.
Well,
So
that's
we were
awesome.
pleasantly surprised, and we had a good report. Crash numbers, 48 last year, fatalities, 28 this year.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, all of our yard signs, our billboards, our bus tail ads, and the
Yeah.
amount of enhanced enforcement making a difference. So we felt good, patted ourselves on the back today. That's
It is
before you
making
came,
a
Mabel.
difference, and thank you all. If you had a yard sign in your yard, we passed up a lot. Whether it was the eco sign, pitch in, keep Sherman Park clean, or the, oh my goodness, we had thou shall not speed, the slow down signs. We had a lot of different yard signs this year. So
And we did good.
thank you for
Good
putting
work.
them in your yard. Hopefully it had some impact, slowed down traffic, kept the community clean. But one last thing I wanted to mention is that on Thursday, November 11th, some of you, if you're members of Sherman Park Community Association, you should have received a ballot and also an bio of all the good folks who are running for the Sherman Park Community Association's board of directors. So we wanted to make sure that if you did receive that, you please fill out your ballot, send it back. If you are not a member of Sherman Park Community Association, you can go to our website at www.shermanpark.org. You can sign up for a membership there. In addition, if you are a member, ensure that you haven't gotten your ballot, just stay on this call after we're done and just let me know, and we can sort through that as well. So are there any other questions, any other thoughts for tonight? Yes, sir, Steve.
You forgot the most important thing, Mabel.
What did I forget?
What are we celebrating this year?
Oh, it is our 50th anniversary. I will tell you this though. Because of COVID, we had I had put together residents and community people to help us with the 50th anniversary celebration, right? But because of COVID, kind of going back and forth, we weren't really sure what was gonna happen. So we did a couple events, but we're hoping by next year, or at least by summer, we'll do a 50th anniversary 2.0. At least outside, at least we should be okay with that. Even if we have to get a big tent or whatever, we can still celebrate Sherman Park Community Association's time in Sherman Park. We're one of the longest serving agencies for neighborhoods, and we're happy to serve the 31,000 residents that we're serving now. So please join us for that too. So November 11th is our annual meeting at 6 p.m. and we can also send out the link for that as well.
And
So-
there will be a feature on Sherman Park and our 100th anniversary celebration
Oh.
for St. Catherine's.
Catherine's.
We have a article about Sherman Park.
That's awesome, because I do know
And
St. Catherine's is part of Sherman Park's history. I do
Yep.
know that.
And we put the logo, the 50th anniversary logo in that calendar that is going to be there to celebrate it.
Awesome. That's great.
That's cool.
All right. folks.
Thanks, everybody.
Up here at 7:35.
Thank you.
If anybody
Bye,
gets
all.
their ballot, if you're a member, please stay on the call and we'll take care of that right after this.
Thanks a lot.
All
And
right,
Lauren,
welcome.
thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Good job, both of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys later. Yeah, bye-bye.